Shabbat Shalom. I was looking over my notes, preparing for this week's Shabbat, Parshat Vayakhel Pekudei, and I was looking over my notes from last year, Parshat Vayakhel Pekudei. It was crazy. Vayakhel Pekudei was one of those first Shabbases where we were starting to realize what it would mean to not gather in shul, to not gather in the world. And it was so poignant because Vayakhel means to gather, to congregate. Vayakhel, to make a kehillah. It's all about Moshe gathering the entire people together for a message. And I just remember being so struck and so sad that we couldn't be together. And so much has happened in that last year, and thank God we found ways to be together, virtually, physically, outdoors, indoors. But I want to share a message that I heard from one of my rabbis, Rabbi Stephen Exler, who looks at Parshat Vayakhel and notes that really the last year can be summed up in three things that happened right at the beginning of the parasha. The beginning of the parasha is Vayakhel Moshe et kol adat b'nei Yisrael. Moshe gathered the entire Jewish people, every single one of them, to gather them together and told them about Shabbat. Everyone's together, beautiful. Then they all leave. He tells them about the Mishkan and what they're going to do. And it says, Vayetzu kol adat b'nei Yisrael milifnei Moshe. They all go. They all disperse. So that's the last year. We gathered together. Who can not forget our Purim? Not this Purim, but the last Purim, when we were so gathered together, hundreds of us, all over the place. It was bursting at the seams. We were so gathered together. And then we all dispersed like that, instantly. And then, after that, after the dispersal, comes the following. Vayavo hanashim, al hanashim kol nediv lev. And then, every person who had some inspiredness from their heart came forward as individuals to bring things to the Mishkan that was being built. So what's going on here? Gathering, dispersal, and then individuals stepping forward to contribute and reconnect to community. And I think that's so fitting for exactly what is happening right now. We're not fully gathered in the way that we were 12 months ago. And yet, we are gathered, and yet, individuals are coming one after another, finding their way back to community connection. It's so amazing to see. I'll tell you, just having been at daily tefillah since when we started over the summer, it's so heartwarming to see one individual who's been fully vaccinated come back. Another individual who hasn't been fully vaccinated yet but feels comfortable and safe knowing that in the environment that we have here, we've had no cases of transmission over these 6+ months since we've been gathering together. Wearing a mask, socially distant, they're coming back to daven a little bit. Or with Kiddush, we're having a walk by Kiddush tomorrow, our first in months, at the home of Tammy and Billy Feinstone and the Siras. Amazing. People are going to be coming one at a time as individuals coming back to reconnect with community safely, with precautions, but coming back and returning. Or Tat Shabbat, which is happening now in the park. And we have families with young children who are re-engaging and connecting that haven't for so long. Or with the other programming we'll be launching very soon, whether that's more youth programming, which we're going to announce, individuals will be able to come back and reconnect and engage, or other forms of learning and gatherings, which will all be done safely, but all with the goal of reconnection and engaging. It's a confusing time. We don't, there's still a lot of unknowns out there, but we do know that the vaccines that we have are so good and so safe and so effective. And we do know that we have found ways to safely gather together, even if we aren't vaccinated. We do know that we have those ways to do it in the shul. So what I want to encourage everyone, as vaccinations are going up, and as the numbers, thank God, are staying down, very down, I want to encourage everyone to take one safe, measured step as an individual to reconnect just like this week's Parsha. Not everyone all together all at once, that would be not wise, but as individuals to reconnect, whether it's to davening, or to Kiddush, or to Tat Shabbat, or just to take a walk with a friend, to get outside, to find some way of reconnecting, stepping forward as individuals, back to that kehillah that has always been there. It hasn't gone away. The framework is still there, and it always has been there. We've seen it again and again, just rising up and strengthening one another. That kehillah framework is so strong still, even when we can't gather. But of course, we all know it's only, it's at its best when we're able to gather together. That's when we feel it the most. So everyone, follow the Torah. As individuals, take a step that's appropriate for you, a safe, a careful, a measured step, but a step towards connection, a step towards community. That's so important. That's what this Parsha is all about. That's what this shul is all about. That's really what I think the world is all about. It's about not living lives in isolation. It's about living lives in relationship and depth and connection with our neighbors, with our family, with our friends, with the world, with Hashem. So let's do it. Let's take small, safe steps. Follow the Parsha. We gathered, we dispersed, and then individuals started coming back. It's so heartwarming to see. We're on a right track. We're on a good path, and may we only continue in good health. Shabbat Shalom.